Well, folks, it seems like things are not going too well between Donald and Melania Trump, which is just so surprising, I know. Who could have possibly guessed this?
So Harry J. Sisson just dropped a comprehensive analysis connecting Trump's personal dysfunction to systematic government overreach. And he's absolutely right. We're seeing authoritarian tactics targeting media companies while the first family can't even maintain basic dignity. This breakdown reveals everything wrong with this administration.
Trump had this event at the White House today with King Charles, Melania, and King Charles's wife, and there were a number of awkward moments between the happy couple where, for example, Donald Trump tried making a joke about their marriage. Melania Trump just gave him a death stare. He also touched her inappropriately in front of everybody and just pretended like nothing happened. It was very weird, and I think we all know that Melania certainly doesn't want that to happen, not in private, let alone in public.
Body language experts have consistently noted Melania's physical rejection of Trump in public settings. What's alarming is how personal dysfunction translates directly into governance failures. A president who can't read basic social cues with his own spouse struggles with complex diplomatic relationships.
But I want to show you just a couple of examples, but I think we have to start with the main story that's been going on the past day or so, past 2 days, surrounding the Trump family, the Trump marriage, and that is them targeting Disney, them targeting ABC, and specifically Jimmy Kimmel. Both Donald Trump and Melania Trump came out and demanded that Jimmy Kimmel be fired over a joke he made days ago, a very innocent joke, by the way, and now we're learning that the FCC is challenging the broadcast licenses of ABC and Disney because so far they haven't fired Jimmy Kimmel. This is government retribution for speech, clear as day.
This is textbook authoritarianism, using regulatory agencies to punish speech. The FCC threatening broadcast licenses over comedy crosses every constitutional line. When government weaponizes licensing against media companies, we're witnessing the systematic dismantling of free press protections in real time.
I mean, remember when the Republicans pretended to care about the First Amendment for like a month? In the 2024 election campaign season, they pretended to care for like a month, and now we have the FCC investigating private businesses because Donald Trump wants them to.
Remember their 2024 campaign promise to protect free speech? That lasted exactly until they gained power. Now the same Republicans crying about censorship are literally using federal agencies to silence critics. The hypocrisy is stunning, but the pattern is predictable for authoritarian movements.
The Federal Communications Commission is moving toward a review of Disney broadcast licenses according to people familiar with the matter, a maneuver that would up the pressure on the ABC owner as it faces fierce scrutiny from the administration. Again, this is not the first time, over a late-night monologue. The FCC may choose not to trigger that process known as an early license review, some of the people said, but Chairman Brendan Carr has threatened Disney's licenses before, as recently as this month, when he criticized the company's diversity programs, because if they're not white and straight and male, they don't want them working at Disney. Yeah, that's the federal government. The FCC doesn't want that to happen.
Brendan Carr's attacks on Disney's diversity programs reveal the broader strategy here. This isn't just about Kimmel. It's systematic intimidation targeting any company that doesn't conform to their ideology. They're using regulatory power to enforce cultural conformity across corporate America.
Disney's shares slipped around 1%. 1% it went down, given all of the attacks from the White House, because most investors know that this is crap. Trump and Melania have both demanded, both Trump and Melania have demanded that the broadcaster fire Jimmy Kimmel, the host of ABC's late night show, over a monologue he made 2 days before a gunman allegedly attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. Representatives for Disney and the FCC did not immediately respond to request for comment, but I am happy to report that this isn't happening. They're not firing Jimmy Kimmel. Disney's not doing it. ABC is not doing it. Brian Stelter from CNN, who has sources inside the company, said Disney is standing by Jimmy Kimmel.
That minimal stock drop shows investors recognize this as political theater. Disney's resistance is crucial. When major corporations stand firm against authoritarian pressure, it signals that intimidation tactics have limits. This becomes a precedent for other companies facing similar threats.
My sense is that Disney is prepared to defend itself if need be and sees this as a First Amendment fight that is worth having. Yes, Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Yes, this is absolutely a First Amendment fight that is worth having. You cannot give an authoritarian an inch, because if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And so if Disney were to back down now, like they did with Kimmel the first time, they saw how badly that went. If they were to back down now and give Donald Trump a mile after giving him an inch, the results would be catastrophic. The consequences would be catastrophic, not only for Disney, not only for other companies, but our democracy as well.
Exactly right about not giving authoritarians an inch. This is classic boundary testing behavior. They push until they meet resistance. Disney's stand here determines whether other companies will face similar government retaliation. The stakes extend far beyond entertainment industry.
He said in the show last night, it was a very light roast about the fact that he's almost 80 and she's younger than I am. It was not by any stretch of the definition a call to assassination, and they know that. I've been very vocal for many years speaking out against gun violence in particular, but I understand that the First Lady had a stressful experience over the weekend, and probably every weekend is pretty stressful in that house, and I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband about it.
Kimmel's response was strategically perfect, acknowledging stress while highlighting Trump's own rhetoric. He turned their criticism back on them without escalating. This is how you resist authoritarian pressure. Stay principled, factual, and let their hypocrisy speak for itself.
We can't figure out why Kimmel still has a job. What was her reaction when she heard that?
Well, I think initially the reaction is Kimmel needs to go. It's time that ABC stands up and terminates his employment. And this isn't a freedom of speech issue. The issue is purely commercially natured. Why does ABC and the advertisers want to stand behind Kimmel when over and over again, for such a long time now, he spews this hateful rhetoric, this political divisiveness? It's clear that his intent is not to entertain. He's not funny. He's not a comedian. He enters the homes of Americans every single night. 50% of them don't agree with his perspective, but yet ABC stands behind him.
Yeah. Notice the coordinated messaging between Melania and administration officials. This isn't spontaneous outrage. It's calculated pressure using government and family platforms simultaneously. The framing of commercial concerns masks what's clearly political retaliation against speech they dislike.
Again, anytime I see a Trump official or Melania or Donald Trump talking about this, the irony genuinely angers me to my core of them saying, oh, it's Jimmy Kimmel who's divisive. He's the one that's entering Americans' homes every night, and he's just spewing this hatred. Do they know who they're working for? Do they know who they're married to? His name is Donald Trump, the most divisive figure in modern American politics. Drives me nuts.
The emotional response is completely justified when you consider Trump's documented history of inflammatory rhetoric. From very fine people to January 6th incitement, he's the architect of modern political divisiveness. Psychological projection is their primary communication strategy now.
Wasn't looking too good. First and foremost, the hands of both Trump and King Charles looked in bad shape today. King Charles' hands were very red and swollen. I think he has some kind of condition. I'm not 100% sure. Donald Trump here also has makeup now on both hands. So not just one hand that he is bruising, it's now on both hands, and both are being covered up by makeup, which is definitely not a good sign for the President of the United States' health. But you can see the makeup is just caked on. It's just caked on. And the White House will not answer any questions about it. And here's, oh my God, isn't that just brutal? That is not a pretty sight. There's something going on there, and they're not even doing a good job of covering up with makeup anymore. You can see the bruising has like expanded. It now covers his entire hand as opposed to just a little portion, and we still don't know what's going on there.
Presidential health transparency has precedent, going back to FDR. The makeup cover-up approach raises legitimate questions about what they're hiding. When Reagan showed cognitive decline, there was eventually disclosure. This administration's secrecy pattern extends to basic health information.
And look at the distance between Melania and Donald. Like 2 feet between them. They hate each other. They just absolutely hate each other. Here's another thing I wanted to show you. The inappropriate touching. For some reason, MAGA is celebrating this, which is really gross. Maybe it's just what they do. Maybe they like this stuff. It's kind of gross to me, and I think gross to anybody with a brain. But Benny Johnson is celebrating. Trump gives Melania a love tap before an official event with the King of England at the White House. Patriot. He describes him as a patriot for doing this. And look at this photo. Is this not appalling? I mean, just from a human being perspective, you're the President of the United States and you're touching your wife's rear. in front of everybody.
The inappropriate touching during a diplomatic event shows complete lack of presidential awareness. This embarrasses America internationally and normalizes behavior that would be unacceptable in any professional setting. The celebration by supporters makes it even more concerning.
It's so gross to me that this is he knows what he's doing. This is who Trump is. I mean, this is who Trump has always been when it comes to touching women, especially women that are not his wife. But he knows what he's doing. He's not, putting his hand on her back or anything like that, which he might be just doing it casually or whatever. But he knows what he's doing. And I think it's really, really gross. And I think we can all agree. I mean, we've seen Donald Trump try to grab Melania's hand before and hold her hand, and she's just straight up ripped her hand away. I think we can all probably take an educated guess here and say Melania didn't like this. And I don't think anybody would, because, you just don't grab your partner in that way in public, in my view. Maybe I'm too prude. I don't know.
This connects to Trump's documented pattern with women dating back decades. Melania's consistent physical rejection in public settings suggests private dynamics are even worse. Pattern recognition matters more than isolated incidents when assessing character and behavior.
Now, I want to show you, man, oh man, Trump tried to crack a joke to Melania about their marriage, but she gave him absolutely nothing in return. She did not like the joke. Watch this.
Him, Fred, and they were married for 63 years. And excuse me if you don't mind. That's a record we won't be able to match, darling. I'm sorry. Just not going to work out that way. We'll do well, but we're not going to do that well. 63 years.
Melania's stone-faced reaction speaks volumes about the relationship dynamics. Making marriage jokes during a formal diplomatic event with Britain shows stunning lack of awareness. This is exactly when presidents should demonstrate stability and respect for international partnerships.
Ugh.
And
oh yeah, there's so much love in this marriage. Oh yeah, she loves it. So much love in this marriage. She loves that joke. She's just cracking up, huh? I mean, what are you doing? You're the president of the United States. You're hosting an event with the King of England at the White House. This is one of America's longest allies, longest friends, longest standing relationships.
The timing couldn't be worse. The US-UK relationship spans centuries and multiple world wars. Using this diplomatic moment for personal comedy while facing political losses shows priorities completely backwards. Presidential behavior should elevate these occasions, not diminish them.
And Donald Trump is turning to Melania, making jokes about their marriage at a time when they're losing to Jimmy Kimmel in a very public way, at a time when he's grabbing her in a public, at a time when the Trump administration is just in general chaos. I don't even think Melania lives at the White House. I don't even think she lives there. I think she lives in New York City. But man, oh man, a really weird event, and just giving him
The synthesis here is spot on. Personal chaos directly affects governance quality. When family dysfunction plays out publicly while government agencies target media companies, it reveals an administration completely lacking focus or discipline. Private problems become public governance failures.
And excuse me if you don't mind. That's a record we won't be able to match, darling. I'm sorry. Just not going to work out that way. We'll do well, but we're not going to do that well. 63 years. And
giving him nothing. Giving him nothing. Yeah.
That replay just reinforces how painful this was to watch. America's international reputation suffers when our president creates awkward moments during serious diplomacy. These aren't minor gaffes. They're symptoms of deeper leadership problems affecting our global standing.
I don't think things are going too well. You can let me know in the comments if you agree. I'll leave it there. I don't want to take too much of your time. Please make sure to subscribe down below, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about this story.
This comprehensive analysis connects government overreach, media intimidation, health transparency concerns, and diplomatic dysfunction into one coherent picture. The observations about relationship dynamics and authoritarian tactics are backed by clear evidence and historical precedent. Excellent breakdown.